Urban Gypsy Freedom. Multiple concave layers, disconnected but blended. A cut within a cut. I'm going to take the length off of Megan's hair, just combing all the hair into a compression section in the center back. Just combing the hair nice and tight into one section. We're just going to shatter the edges to create our outside line. Keeping the razor nice and flat. Just shatter through my outside line. My next section, I'm starting on the left-hand side as a right-handed cutter, and I'm going to be doing a concave through the back of Megan's hair. Taking the hair out, I'll take the shortest point, make sure that I see where that's dropping for me. I'm going to come in, and with my razor parallel to the floor, I'm going to shatter in a nice deep concave. Move across into the center. Take my guide with me. I'll come in, and again, a nice deep concave and out. So I've worked my way across the back, and now I'm working back into the red zone on the other side, making sure to direct back to keep a little bit of hair behind the ear. My next section, I'm starting on the front of Megan's haircut, and I'm going to start to work my way all around the back, doing a progressive layer, making this my starting point, dropping down from the chin. I'm going to take the hair out, and we're just going to very softly blend that section to the outside. I will continue doing this across the back, being sure to comb the section nice and clean, nice and tight. Get my razor in nice and flat, and just shatter to the outside. Having worked my way around through the back and back through into the sides, I'm just taking this last section now and just very softly blending out my last section, which now allows me to work into my top. Now for our final section with the hair wet, I'm going to compression cut Megan's hair, taking it all to a point around about the lip as a guide. This is going to create for me a lot of movement on the inside, as well as create the shape on the exterior. I'm going to take it, I'm going to pinch it, comb it nice and tight as you can. I'm going to pinch it, and I'm going to work on the outside of the section. So just coming through and doing a nice, strong shatter. Now when I push that hair back, I'm going to release all that great movement around the face, as well as that movement on the inside. Now to blend from our compression cut fringe into the layers we cut on the outside, I'm going to use my RZ blender. Combing the section up and out, I'm going to find where the disconnect was and just softly go in and visually soften that line. Anywhere the hair is a little heavier, I'll take out a little bit more. So come in, elevate the section out, find our compression cut, and blend it with our layering to the outside. I will continue to do that all around till I reach the other side. So having reached our final section on our heavy side, we're going to do our blend multiple times. In detailing our Urban Gypsy Freedom, I'm going to start by walking my contour shear to frame around the face. A slight flutter of the thumb, just to open up the shape. I'll now come back And using the same walking motion and flutter of the thumb, I'll blend in my fringe section. Having created that shape, I will come now onto the other side. And now walking my contour shear down. Again, just a very light flutter of the thumb. Now, using my RZ blender, I will take my layering from the inside, elevate with my length on the outside, keeping the shear parallel to the floor. I will now soften between the two lines. Just a nice soft movement. I will continue that all the way through, working my way into the back, elevating that hair out. I like to use the large side of the comb here. Just keeps everything a little softer. Comb through and out. Come in with my RZ blender, and just a nice soft blend from the interior out to the exterior. I'll continue that all the way through to the other side.
The surface contour melt is in blurred panels, creating diffusion at the root. We follow the curvature of the head, which is perfect to decorate our urban gypsy haircut. Embrace the surface contour melt to contour any face shape. We're going to begin with our partings here, isolating the black and the green zone here on the top by separating it out on the sides, on the right and the left side ridges and the rear ridge. After that, you'll want to isolate our red zone. And our red zone will continue all the way through the nape here. Lastly, you'll want to make sure to isolate the last 2 inches of the blue zone in the nape. Remember, you're clipping away the black and the green zone for later. We'll be addressing just the front of the hairline here, working in balayage. We're going to begin in panel A, here dropping out the last 2 inches of the nape in the blue zone. It's important that the first thing that you do before your lightening process is outline your subsection with your base formula. Today, we're choosing to work with 1 part of our 5R cherry with 1 part of our 3N dark chocolate with 20 volume enzyme cream activator. As we start to work into our contour color here in the nape section, we're going to choose to work with foil. The reason being is because we want a controlled environment for maximum lift. Make sure that when you fold the foil, the lip of the foil is living on the outside to ensure consistency in lightening. We're going to place it here in panel A, nice and tightly underneath. Do notice that I did separate that panel into 2 just because of the density of Megan's hair. We'll pick up our Pure Blonde formula, and our Pure Blonde formula is 1 part of our powder to 2 parts of our enzyme cream activator of a 30 volume. We'll make sure to generously apply that Pure Blonde because we want an opportunity for that hair to really absorb. Within our urban gypsy color today, we are looking for that maximum pop so we can get that contrast and then that perfectly blurred panel. Now that we have that application of our base formula, locking the foil in, kissing the base and saturating with Pure Blonde down to the ends, we're going to get in with our bamboo boar bristle brush and a technique called the ballet brush. We'll work with the corner of our brush. The reason being is it will create maximum diffusion. Whenever you work with corners in color placement or triangular sections, it creates a lot of softness. As you notice, we went through with the brush and we combed 1, 2, and 3. We'll now drop that down. And simply taking another foil, we'll just place that over top. Starting in the bottom area of our red zone, we're going to travel in zigzag sections through the red zone, ending at the temple. We're starting in the red zone because we want maximum lift to really respect that contrast between the dark and the light. Typically, fine hair lives within that red zone. We're going to get in and we're just going to zig down a section and just clip that out of the way. We'll grab a foil, take that underneath here, take your base formula, and you'll want to lock that in. Following, we'll take our Pure Blonde and we're just going to lightly kiss that formula of our base all the way out into the ends. Notice that if the hair is denser, we're going to fan out this Lightner application to give the Pure Blonde an opportunity to really penetrate. We'll then get in with our Bali brush, and using the boar bristles, we'll comb with the corner 1, 2, and 3. This will allow texture in our finish and our contour color application. We'll put foil on foil and just lightly crisp those corners. That next section then, because we zigged, we're now going to get in and zag. So as you can see through the red zone, traveling on that zigzag, we're creating small triangular sections, which breaks up that color. Because we came in last with our section and we zagged, we're now going to get across and we'll zig. So creating those small triangular sections will allow us to effortlessly break up our color placement here. And using that foil, we can get that beautiful pop of blonde here with our Pure Blonde. So one more section. We're going to drape that over top here. We'll take our base formula, lock it in. We'll kiss our base formula, saturating that Pure Blonde down. And I'll just take my hand and use that as a wonderful foil support here. She has a denser texture, so we'll just fan that out. And then don't be afraid to use a generous amount of that Pure Blonde. Give that hair an opportunity to absorb. And it completely respects her hair health. Corner of our Bali brush here, 1, 2, and 3. We'll take our foil and we'll place that on top. Working on foil application respects the integrity of the hair fiber. If your guest has an extra long length, please take the time to elongate the foil, as longer hair tends to have fragile ends and they don't deserve to be wrapped up in the foil. So now that we've placed the foil on top, we're going to continue traveling in that zigzag section all the way through the red zone in the exact same fashion on this side and on the other side of our red zone. Now that we have finished working in our red zone in our zigzag sections and working with our Bali brush technique in the foil, we're now going to move on to block coloring with our base color through the remaining blue, black, and a portion of the green zone. Please note we've dropped out 1 inch of the hairline in the green zone that will not be black colored. Now that we've completed our block coloring in the blue, black, and a portion of the green zone, hot tip, drape a piece of cellophane over top so our balayage doesn't disturb the black coloring that we have. We're first going to take our Trinity Tonic. It's our color insurance policy. I'm going to mist that over top, and this is going to nicely strengthen and prepare the hair for that perfect balayage. We'll then get in with our Pure Blonde and load our paddle. I'm right-handed, so we're going to load the paddle on the left-hand side. When loading the paddle, it's important that you load it nice and smooth. We'll then get in with our detailer brush. Taking halfway through the charged area, we'll take our tint brush, drag it off to the right side of that paddle, making sure that it's nice and even with that application. Pinching the hair really nice and tight, we're now going to continue our zigzag through that first 1 inch of the green zone we dropped out through the fringe. And we'll take our detailer here and we'll get in just on the corner, and we're just going to kiss our base formula and lightly pat using light tension and soft tapping motions. So now we'll get in halfway through our charged area, drag more of our Pure Blonde off, and just focusing here on the corner of our tint brush, we're going to lightly kiss our formula using light tapping motions, and we will pat that in. We'll enter again, now working through the mid shaft, and we will pet that through. I'm using more of a medium tension here. So light, we pat using soft tapping motions, and we pet. We're going to mirror the exact same thing on the other side. So pat, and then pet. Before we get into our push zone, which is the last 2 to 3 inches of the hair, I want to do something called surface painting. This takes a small amount of pure blonde and uses the full body of that tint brush. We'll just lightly surface paint through that center here and our balayage, giving a bit of a blur and really finishing off our contour. Finally, we'll push those ends, laying them corner to corner for diffusion. Take our charging brush, apply more pure blonde, and now we'll push that into the ends here. We'll lift up, lightly blur, and then we'll drop that down. We've now finished our balayage to the top, and now we're going to process. Finished with our process, we are now ready for the overlay. We choose to work with 2.5 parts of our 9G honey with half a part of our 9C copper with 7 volume enzyme cream activator.
To finish our Urban Gypsy Freedom, we'll be working in soft C motions and working with our sections in diagonal sections opposite of each other so that we can create some beautiful hourglass movements. We've prepared Megan's hair using our Curl Whip mousse first as our leave-in conditioner to be able to really hydrate that hair. We then came in with our Curls cream to be able to really compress that hair and bring that hair in. And then our last prep was to be able to work with our Curls mousse, helping to give her good elasticity during our blowout. From here, we began by subsectioning the head, working from the top of the ear to top of the ear as our nape section, then from the temple all the way around to the other side of the temple, treating the head as a whole, and then the remaining hair in the top section will be our final blow dry section. To begin our blow dry, we'll be working with a diagonal section from the top of the ear, just on a slight diagonal. From here, we'll be working with our TK2 3-inch round brush, and then working with that downward movement, working in with our blow dryer. We'll be moving our first section in the nape, moving downward to the left. As we move into the next section, we'll be moving on a diagonal opposite of the first and moving to the right. We're using our Shift Shaping Wax to give a beautiful contour shape, our Urban Gypsy Freedom. To work with our street glamour for our Urban Gypsy Freedom, we'll be doing a quick updo using simple knots to be able to create a beautiful hourglass shape updo. The first thing that we did is that we subsectioned our hair into 2 sections, working from the side ridges into that rear ridge into a nice V. The remaining hair is clipped into 1 section. Our first step will be in the top section. We'll work with our push powder to be able to tap, tap, and push. This is going to give us beautiful vegan Velcro starch. It's going to give that back combing much easier for us. We'll come in with the wide teeth of our TK2 comb and easily build some texture and back combing just by doing a quick push and a pull to reserve the length into that area. As we work quickly, we'll be draping this hair back into that section. We'll use our Theory Firm to hold that into place, working with the grain of the hair. We've gathered the hair into this nape area here at the rear ridge, and we'll be working to go ahead and just give it a nice twist and a quick pin to hold that top in place. We'll be working with our shaping wax. A small amount on the back of my thumbnail is really going to help to mold and shape the hair. We'll work with it through the ends of the hair and begin our braid. We start by picking up a section on the left and a section on the right, making sure to leave the small pieces out in the front that we want for detailing. We'll work right over the top of our twist, crossing the right side over the left, and then tying it just like you would tie your shoe. We'll pass it over to the right hand, and we now pick up on the left. We'll cross right over left, just like we did before, and we tie it just like we tie our shoe. Pull tight. Pass it over to my left, and now I pick up on the right. We'll continue this motion through the end of the braid. Now that we've completed picking up the hair, we have 2 sections left. We'll cross right over left. We'll tie it, again, just like we're tying our shoe, and we'll add an elastic to the bottom. From here, the tail will get tucked under. We'll give it a quick pin. And from here, we'll grab our shaping wax. We'll begin to pull that hair apart using a ruffling technique or a bow tie technique, where you take the 2 ends and twist them out. As we find that position, we'll pin them in place. And we'll continue to pin until we have the perfect set. We've completed our Urban Gypsy updo. We'll finish with our Theory Firm and our Basu Shine Spray. Enjoy the Urban Gypsy updo.